causes of the crisis we're having in the cocoa sector now. Two main causes. Number one is that the new managers of the cocoa sector have reset the trading program of Cocoa Board. We used to sell about 70% on forward sales and 30% on spot. They argued that that was an incompetent approach and decided to change it. And now they are selling about 70% on spot. That is why today, as prices have dipped, they are struggling and are saying that the price they had announced ends up being higher than the current prices on the market. That's number one, because of their own decision to reset the trading model. Number two is the artificial injection of forex into the Ghanaian economy, which has overvalued our cedi, as Dr. Amin rightly explained, and is therefore making our exports relatively more expensive. Remember, we've been raising this matter for a while now, and when you say, they say, oh, dollar has come down, clap for us. Now we are beginning to see the effect, at least in the first area, in the cocoa sector.
We're going to stop foreign funding for the purchase of our cocoa. We are going to raise domestic bonds. We have enough cedis in Ghana to pay for our cocoa. We're going to raise domestic bonds, buy our own cocoa. We don't need to collateralize the beans. I know the interesting part. We have the capacity to process 400,000 tons of those beans, processing capacity in Ghana. But because the beans are collateralized, we cannot even allocate those beans to the local processors. We have to ship all the beans outside. Now, if we buy the beans ourselves, we can take 400,000 tons out of the beans and give to our local processors to add value. That is what the Accra research is about. I say by 2030, there are not going to be any raw mineral ores leaving Ghana. You're not going to ship manganese ores out of Ghana raw. You're not going to ship bauxite ore out of Ghana raw. You're not going to ship iron ore out of Ghana raw. You must process all that locally. That is the only way we can provide opportunities for our young people. Our young people are not as patient as our generation. They want to see that progress and prosperity today. And that is why Accra Reset has that urgency that we need to implement in order that we stop our young people from braving the dangers of the Sahara and the Mediterranean to try to get to Europe to look for opportunity. Africa's prosperity is not a threat to anybody in this world. Africa's prosperity will consolidate world prosperity, and it will be a positive for this world, not a threat. And so we want to thank Baros Chapman for those kind words. El-Haj C spoke on behalf of our stakeholders, and we are happy that they are sacrificing their time and effort to join this great movement to create prosperity for Africa. Some of us, what the Accra Reset really means. Some imagine just another declaration. Others expect fiery speeches. Accra Reset is an architecture, a framework through which Africa and its partners align finance, health, trade, skills, and technology into a single direction of travel. Our frustrations have given way to determination, sparking breakthrough thinking that will change the calculus of international relations forever. Take, for example, global health. For too long, our health systems have been seen as a drain on our budgets. Through the Accra Reset, every finance minister now understands that health is the foundation of productivity and stability. I'm pleased to announce our high-level panel on reform of global health architecture, which is co-chaired by Professor Peter Piot, Honorable Budi Gunadi Sadikin, Chancellor El-Haj Asai, and Honorable Nisia Trinidade Lima. Reform will be grounded in knowledge of past failures while animated by future promise. On negotiating power, it is said that sovereignty depends on the people manning the gates. Technical work has begun on our Sovereign Negotiators Certification Program, cultivating a generation of deal makers who can navigate technology agreements, mineral contracts, and complex financing with confidence. On trade and mobility, through the African Continental Free Trade Hub and digital platforms, the League of Free Movement is taking on new meaning. Our global digital skills passport will ensure that the qualifications of young Africans are recognized across platforms and across the world. On global partnerships, the new Bandung spirit is gaining expression. Exchanges with South Korea, Singapore, India, and Indonesia are opening pathways for technological learning and digital trade.
Each and every African leaders can have this kind of minds and this kind of plans. I think for the shortest time, Africa is going to break the rule of law. Africa is going to break the international laws that was put there, because the laws that were imposed there to the African continent is about not African moving from one place to another. It's about African not benefiting from what it's having. It's about African waiting even for their own resources, for some people to come and approve for them. It's about asking for anything for they want to do. That's all Africa was created, and that's how African continent was shaped. Now, today we're having in Africa, we're having a lot of resources. That is what all we know. That's all what we know. In Africa, we're having a lot of resources. But how the continent is benefiting from it? How the people from the continent are benefiting from it? That's the question. We're having, like in Nigeria, a large quantity of oil. The massive oil in Nigeria. But how the people of Nigeria are benefiting from it? We are having a lot of diamonds and uranium in Sahel regions, in West African countries. We are having a lot of resources, tea, timber, all this, charcoal. We are having a lot. Gold. When you go to Congo, Congo is comprising of each and every kind of resources. But how are we benefiting from this? We are not benefiting from this because we are not the one controlling it. We are not controlling our resources. That's why we cannot be able to benefit from it. We are selling it out to the world as raw materials, or as produces, but not as final products, not as final goods. So we have to give them our cocoa to go and process them to come and sell to us as coffee. So we have to give out our crude oil so that the world can go refine it and bring back to Africa and sell to us as fuels. So we are not the one controlling the market. We are not controlling the resources, so we cannot control the market. So they are the one to control the market, to set the prices. They take everything we're having, they go process them, they set the prices to the market, and at the price they feel like this is what they want to give it to Africans. That is what has always been going on in Africa for the longest time, until something happens. Until something happens, that's when the African people and the African continent will be able to benefit from what it's having. Now, today what has happened in the country of Ghana, it's like Ghana has break the law. Ghana has break the rules. They have gone against the rules that was there for the longest time. Now Ghanaian president has said clearly that we are not going to sell out our cocoa, but we are going to manufacture our cocoa. We are going to process our cocoa first, so that we'll be selling out as coffee, but not cocoa. They're selling out as cocoa beans. So this is not. This means that they are not controlling the price of the cocoa in the market. They are not controlling the market. But the people who are selling, who are buying this, are the ones who are controlling the market, because once they buy this as cocoa beans, they're going to process them. They bring back to Africa, well sealed and packed, and set their own price. So they're the ones who are benefiting from all that is coming back from the continent. And by doing this, that's why they have been always progressing themselves. That's why they have been building themselves, doing great things, while we as Africans, we are suffering when we are having everything that we need to survive, and we need to do or to make us better. So this is just an example of what has happened in the Ghana country. We need this to see this happening in the country of Nigeria. Nigerians are the people who are living under poverty, while they are producing massive oil to the world. We are watching this we've been watching this happening in the Sahel regions, whereby Burkina Faso has been been the producer of gold, Niger producing uranium, but the countries in Sahel have been living the poverty life for the longest time. People are suffering, not even able to afford for their own basic needs. Countries' roads are poor, no hospitals, no schools, and when you get all these things, they're in the most poorest, yet they are controlling, they are producing the best resources in the world. Since the time military leaders took over these countries as the leaders, that's when we started to see changes coming out from these countries. And today the people from this country can show the smile from their faces because of what they are having, at least. Because at least this time they can be able to access the best roads. At least this time they can afford or access the medical cares. At least this time the children can go to school and get the best education. We are in a competitive world, and if we cannot stand frontline and show our strength on how to compete in this races, then we will suffer for the entire of our life. That's why each and every time we are watching African news coming out to speak about this Africa's unity, Africa's independence. If we cannot unite, we cannot see this that we are talking about. We cannot get all that we deserve. We cannot have all the leaders who can do what's necessary to the continent, because as we come out speak this, as we come out to demand and pressure this is what is making African leaders to think about it. This is what is making them at least to work towards the agendas that African people are raising. But if we sit down and watch things happening, the Westerners will control African continent and African resources entire to the entire world. We will not get what we want until we stand up and we fight for it. Ghana has break the protocol, but this is a benefit to the Ghanaian people and to the African entirely, because this means that the Ghanaian country is the one that will be controlling the market of cocoa, but not the foreign countries. Let me have you in the comment section. You're doing great by tuning in this channel. Let's continue discussing this on the comment section. I appreciate your time and be blessed.